Okay. It being 6:30 on Thursday, July 22nd, 2026, I would like to call to order the Planning, Zoning, and Historic Commission of East Dundee. Franco, could you take the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Kruger is absent. Commissioner Feck?
Here.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher is absent. Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Herr?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner?
Yes. With quorum met, we can move on to our proper agenda. So the first order of business is approval of minutes, of which we have none. So the second one is public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment on an agenda or non-agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next section, new business. So may I have a motion to open the public hearing for a request to rezone unincorporated Cook County parcels pins 0130402008, and then also 0131200004 and 0131200005 and 0131200006 and 0131200007 and 0131200008, consisting of approximately 74.55 acres plus 6.97 acres of adjacent public right-of-way located generally south of Route 72, Higgins Road, and West Beverly Road property. It's the M1 Limited Manufacturing District as described in Section 157065 of the zoning ordinance in conjunction with the proposed annexation of the property.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Herr?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. So first, Franco, did we receive any communication, electronic, phone, mail, otherwise, in regards to this public hearing?
There was only one inquiry on all of them listed at once, and it was from a neighboring property tenant to the east. I'm sorry. Yes, to the east across Beverly Road, asking what the applicant is doing. Unfortunately, it wasn't published at the time, so I told them to pay attention to our website and follow back when the agenda is posted, and I haven't heard back from them.
Okay. So I believe we have the applicant requesting this zoning change here today.
They are, yes.
Would you like to make a statement in regards to the rezoning aspect of these?
And Stu, we could swear them in once for the whole evening.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, and I know that, you know, each commission does things a little bit differently. You could conceivably do one public hearing for all of the relief, or allow them to present the entire relief and say that those comments will be incorporated into the record into the other public hearings. I know that I think you guys do prefer to do separate public hearings for each form of relief.
It's how we've typically done it.
So
But-
then in that case, what you might do is you might say that we can have comments from the applicant, and that their presentation will be incorporated into the record of the other public hearings, so they can tell a coherent story.
Yeah.
You have a lot of flexibility here. This was all noticed up together. You have one property owner, one applicant, so however you want to handle it, you have a lot of flexibility available.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that, if you guys are, in this case.
There's a lot of interconnectivity.
It
here.
is, yeah. It would make, I just feel like we'd have a lot of weird questions going back and forth.
And then which one are we
Referring
talking
to
about?
the-
Are
Yeah,
we still
just
allowed
throw
to
it
talk about this?
Yeah.
Are we not there yet?
Yeah, yeah. So what we can do is we can do it all in this one, and then we can reference the testimony and all the other ones? Or
You can do that, or you can basically say, we're going to have one public hearing, we're going to discuss all of this. Questions, basically it'll be open field for questions and comments, and then you would have separate votes after you close that
Yeah.
public hearing on the separate forms of
Yeah,
relief.
definitely.
It seems. I think given what we've voted on right now, if we want to do that, we might need to
Close it.
close it
reopen
and reopen it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yep. Okay. Can I have I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Herr?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to open a public hearing covering agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the packet that was released regarding tonight's meeting.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner,
So 7 is the catch-all, which is basically, if there's other relief that comes up in the discussion that the commission wants to recommend, that will come out through the discussion of the public hearing, so that doesn't have to be separately incorporated, because there may not be anything.
Yeah.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes. And to your point, I actually believe this format will make 7 a lot easier.
Yes.
So we will pull out the 7 separately from any of the other specific topics. If there's a recommendation that we have for any one of the hearings that doesn't really hit the scope of the hearing, we'll throw it into 7. So, okay, so now on all of them, you did a comment. You already covered it.
That was the comment, yeah, that was the other one.
Yes, so okay. So from the previous, we're pulling in the testimony we had from the previous hearing tonight into this one, where Franco described the state of feedback and lack of, let's say, real detail. And then now, yes, we have the applicant for these 6 public hearings. So if you are prepared, come on up.
We could swear you both in if you plan on speaking. If you want to raise your right hand and state your name individually.
Ryan Trottier.
Patrick Bracken.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
Thanks.
Great.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I've prepared somewhat of a pointed presentation. I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes of it. It's a beautiful night. If I can give you guys back some time, I will. I can't remember a more pleasant evening in a long time. So I'm Ryan Trottier, COO of the Plody Companies. Been doing business here in East Dundee for about 25 years, plus or minus. My presentation tonight is all encompassing for all the agenda items, so I think the way you just formatted it is going to work great. I'm joined tonight with Patrick Branken. He's partner with Shane Banks. I first want to start off by thanking staff. What this board hasn't seen is all behind the scenes work that I've been doing with staff and Joe Hines and other consultants for 18 months plus on engineering and other related items to help position this property for success. So there's been a lot of work up to this point today. The property in question we're talking about tonight is outlined in red at the southwest corner of Beverly Road and Route 72. It's just under 75 acres, and we do intend to annex this as well as the underlying right-of-way that has a dashed red line. That's an approximately another 7 acres of right-of-way. So I'm going to digress a little bit here and talk a little bit about a history. In early 2025, the western or adjacent property outlined in blue was annexed into the village of East Dundee. We did not annex at that time the 75 acres because at that time the 75 acres, or the property outlined in red, was under contract with the developer. And the reps and warranties of that contract did not allow me as a seller to go encumber it with other entitlements. That was what the contract purchaser wanted to do. So I annexed what I could at that time, which was 178 acres, or approximately 188 acres. The 75 acres outlined in red is no longer under contract, and we are before you tonight to finish the process of incorporating this acreage into the village under the same general land use terms as what the property in blue was annexed under. The 75 acres outlined in red is currently situated in Cook County, and it enjoys the zoning rights that are being requested tonight. What we're asking for tonight with these variances, with these special uses, isn't anything different than what we currently have the right to do on the property. or what was part of the property outlined in blue, or the original annexation. So we're really continuing that process forward, and we're taking what we did a year and a half ago, and we're carrying it over here. It's essentially a mirror annexation. To continue our existing rights, this dictates the special uses, and the variances. In addition to that, we're asking to zone the property to M1, and there's also a plat subdivision proposed on the property. The M1 zoning, we feel, is going to help our marketing efforts to bring something great to this corner. The property outlined in blue was zoned to M1 when that annexation was done. So again, we're doing exactly the same for what we did last time. As I mentioned earlier, we've worked with the village now for probably over 18 months on detailed engineering, drainage, water sanitary extension plans to get both parcels, primarily the parcel in red, teed up for development. Some of these engineering studies have improved or will improve drainage issues for surrounding properties. Significant funds have been spent on behalf of the ownership group to accomplish what I just shared with you, right? I mean, what we're doing today in terms of land uses, those rights that we want to retain, we don't need to spend the money to extend water and sanitary. We don't need to spend the money to do drainage. We can continue to do what we're doing there now. We've made this investment because we're looking to do something else with the property outlined in red. So I think it's important for me to share all that. We wouldn't have made that capital investment and done everything that we have done if there wasn't a desire to do something else with this property in red. Otherwise, we would just be saying, well, we just need the zoning and that's that. As you contemplate the variances and special uses before you tonight, I think it's important to talk a little bit about Plotie's history in the village here. Because we're not some developer that is gonna go get something approved and plop something in there and disappear. That's not who we've been. It hasn't been the partnership that we've had with the village. Some projects we've done recently is, you may have all remembered Dundee Ford, or Pucci Ford, or Cosa Ford Auto Group, right? That property went vacant. We acquired it. We put money into it, repositioned it. We have Driven Auto in there now. This is like their 4th facility. They're doing great. They've been in there over a year. That's one of our most recent projects. I'm sure all of you remember Old Toffer Cat. That was Plotie property that we annexed. We had a relationship with Cat. You may know we own some equipment and we do some projects.
Just a couple.
And Old Toffer Cat had come to us and said, we have a problem. We need to expand. What can you do? We brought them to East Dundee here for you guys, right? The old Walmart, okay? How many years did that sit vacant and empty? We took that, pumped a lot of money into it. If the village president was here, he'd be happy to know we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on sprinkler system upgrades and fire safety and all that to make that usable. We put a tenant in there that we had in our portfolio in another town that has done carpet and flooring wholesale to developers. Gardner Place at the northwest corner of 25 and 72. That was Plotie property. We worked with Jim Bergman for him to bring you that project. An important part of that project was the fire station. At that time, there was a great need for a new fire station in town. It was Plotie donating that land with Jim Bergman to help make that happen. On Route 72, between Rock Road and Christina Drive on the north side, we have 4 office/flex buildings there. We built those 30 plus years ago. Look at the quality of those, all masonry construction. It's still beautiful today, the quality and time we put into that. The Grove Mart gas station. Now, why am I proud about a Grove Mart gas station? We did that 20 years ago when we brought in Jeff Glowowski. Jeff operated one other store at that time, and it was a property we had in Arlington Heights. We built that station to complement architecturally the surrounding buildings we had, meaning all masonry, limestone. We were somewhat mocked and laughed at for spending the amount of money we did to build that facility, okay? It somewhat became the business model of Jeff Glowowski when he realized his customers come because of a high quality experience there. And he has since built some of the nicest gas stations in and around the area there. Why am I sharing all this? Because I want you to know we're vested in this community. And it's our goal to do something with this property when the market's right. We believe our next step is the action before you tonight, so we can continue to secure our uses, but more importantly, get this in the village, finalize the utility planning, get the zoning, so we can continue to market this. I think we've been here 50 years. I lost track of how many small businesses lease or rent from us in East Dundee. I think maybe it's 50. You know, we can continue to contribute to the economic base here, and we want to continue to do that. So I'd like you to take this all in consideration when you review these items tonight. Again, we're not asking for anything that we don't already have that we can do on the property or that wasn't granted with the property in blue. So we hope this is just a simple continuation of that, and we're here to answer any questions you may have. And thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I think I'm sure folks have questions. We have questions?
Yeah.
Question? So we can start first with let's just go through the list then first. So the first one is the Emlyn Manufacturing District. Any questions in regards to that here? And why that's the one being requested? No?
Well, would you be willing to share more about the types of things that you're interested in developing on the property in the future, if or when the market's right?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked with data center developers. We've talked with big box industrial developers. By that I mean the ones that will build 200,000 to 400,000 square foot buildings. I think any one of those uses are appropriate for here. We've worked with certain data center developers in the past on it, but haven't obviously been able to get to the finish line on it. There's no contract on the property right now. As a matter of fact, when we had it under contract is when we were getting called from different industrial developers and so forth. You know, I'd love to see something like that on there. I don't know if that's everyone's vision here, but we know it works. We know there's a demand for it. We know it brings jobs. And it seems to be the general theme of development along the I-90 corridor when you go from really where this property is all the way out to 47, or even now Belvedere, where we own property. We see a lot of big box activity of 500,000 square foot, 1 million square foot facilities going on up there, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So that's what it may become, but I've learned one thing in this industry, you know, where we own a lot of property, or we have a lot of parcels throughout Kane and McHenry County, and we think the parcel is absolutely going to be this, and it turns into something else, usually for the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who would have thought of a data center 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, right? I mean, who would have thought of apartment buildings 15 years ago? Those were dead. Industrial was dead too, and they've been on fire. So it can take many shapes and forms. You know, I think we're going to have a significant investment here, and we're going to want to figure out how to make something work that's palatable for everyone. I feel we've always brought good projects to the village, and I think we'll continue to do that.
I think also when we're thinking about this rezoning part here, we should really be considering the subdivision aspect as well. Right now, this is what it presently is subdivided in Cook County. Those are the pin
Kind of how
lines.
you see them here, these black lines in the
Yeah,
background. And
And I think it's, oh yeah, there you go.
it kind of mimics that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it pulls some together. So,
And our intent through the drafting of various documents with the village is this is really just temporary, and any market rate development plan will have to come forward with a more exact subdivision to match the site plan.
yeah.
And I can give just a
Bless
little bit
you.
of insight. I know we're gonna talk about the subdivision. The subdivision itself is kind of a technical requirement in this respect because we're including this in a TIF. And because the land has been used for agriculture, you're not allowed to put it in a TIF except if it has been subdivided. The subdivision as presented does not reflect any sort of grand development plan. It's really kind of just an entrance key to get this into the village. And when a development would be proposed, there would be something that would line up with an actual coherent site plan as well.
So you would expect a re-subdivision at that point?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, the reason I'm bringing it up with the commission is it would be possible for us to put each pin in a different zoning district right now in the subdivision that's being planned. You could put, for example,
Yeah.
recommend the front be like retail, that's on the road. Or on one of the roads. To match, like how we did some of the other stuff down the road. I'm just saying this if you guys want to ask questions about
So
this.
part of the reason why I asked about what some of the planned developments were, just because we're talking about M1.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, is it worth thinking about M1 versus?
We're thinking about the future.
The counterpoint to that question is it's already going to be disconnected with the way that we've done the blue one next to it. It's not like we have a continuous set of stuff there. And we know obviously the things just to the east it's developed, right? It's a giant data center.
Yeah.
So,
I don't want to get too far off track, but it is a possibility, possibly a high possibility, that the red gets re-subdivided with the blue, and you create a lot that straddles the red and the blue for
I see.
some type of building or project. Just because we're before you tonight for the red doesn't mean some development
Yes.
plan won't absolutely straddle that. Matter of fact, the previous contract purchaser was doing just that.
yeah. So that's I think a really interesting point to bring up. So thank you for doing that because yes, you still control all of the blue. And this will be a one then contiguous property in East Dundee that you could then, redivide as necessary based on the opportunities.
We get to tell the development world we have approximately 230 acres.
Yeah,
What do you want?
yeah.
How can we make something work? Let's get a project going. Let's figure it out.
I know that property just as being a kid and growing up around here as the old driving range,
Yeah.
right? So then south of that, heavily forested.
Correct? Yeah.
You guys want to do more parking there in the meantime, is that correct?
No, we don't have any plans to do any parking there right now.
Nothing? Okay.
No.
What do you see the land in like 3 years? That you're waiting for a deal, you're waiting for something to happen? What's your 3-year plan and 5-year plan for it? Is it
Yeah,
gonna sit?
I mean,
Is it
I
gonna-
think my crystal ball, and it's funny, Pat and I were just talking about this prior to the meeting. Somewhere between 2 to 5 years, this is developed with maybe some type of use I mentioned earlier. Okay? I think it's that prime, I think, why do I say 2 years? Well, nothing gets built in a year anymore. I mean, you spend 6 months to 9 months to a year doing entitlements, getting everything engineered, and you
Yeah.
got 2 to 8 months of land improvements, and then a year going vertical. I mean, it's just, things take time.
So am I hearing it correctly then in that, because I knew when we did the blue one, you had existing parking there, and we needed to pass that, and you were gonna continue that, and that made sense. But here, there is none of these uses active right now that you're asking for. And-
Yeah, there's just farming, and there's a little reclamation along, you can't see it, the red line's kind of covering it up a little bit. kind of see it at the south here a little bit, Anderson a little bit, but yeah, a small percentage of reclamation and farming primarily is what's going on there.
Yeah, and then you were just saying your intention is not to then even do any of these special uses. That's not in the current plan, at least.
That's not in the plan right now.
Yeah.
What's the reason for the variances then?
Yeah, so the owners don't want to give up any uses that they've had, because they've had them for decades, right? So to hang on to the uses that they have requires these variants or special uses to comply with the village's code, right? So I've had these rights for decades, right? What have I done? What have I done there? I've operated a driving
Yeah.
range, right?
Yeah, I mean, just to the west of it though is more semi-truck parking.
That's
Like
right.
That we talked about last
Yeah,
year.
and we conveyed that, right? And we talked about that then, and what's changed with that area since then, besides us filling it up more and
Mhm.
getting it more level. That's all that's changed in the last 18 months.
Yeah. So to the property in the blue, there's a lot of semi-truck parking now, right? And going that route, there's a huge need for that. And in the big scheme of things, I don't think it's going the line that we should be going. But it's kind of a Band-Aid, it's to get you by until that developer comes and let's do that, this is what we're holding on. But that's not the end game. So what I worry about is, further granting variances that is going away from our code. We're just kicking that can down the road, and then gives the opportunity to just keep that there, and then 10 years is like, well, the economy's crashing. We don't have any interest in this land, but we have to recoup. We got to put these semi trucks here, right? We're also not going to pave. You guys are in the business of paving, so it seems like an awesome, like we could pave this real quick. But our neighbor to the west, I think they kicked butt at the semi truck game. You guys did work there. That might be not your line, but there were Plody trucks there.
And where?
West Dundee, they did a huge.
Oh,
semi-truck
yeah,
parking.
they hired us to
Yep.
build that, yeah.
They did it right.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be in that semi-truck parking game, I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, and I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. I don't think it mirrors what we stand for when you're coming into our community and what we wanna present to visitors or people that live here. When you go to other parking in our town, it looks like a third world country, a lawless land. And that's what I really worry about, just opening ourselves up to. And I think we might be stuck with that. I haven't looked into it farther because of the variance and how long it is, but I feel that if we're gonna do variances with, all right, yeah, don't put any pavement down, all right, yeah, no lighting, all right, just pack semi trucks in there, and we'll wait for this development to come, and don't worry, we're hanging on. And I think the company's awesome. All the things that you mentioned before, it's like that's what I'm on board with, is having that relationship with a company that is really vested in our community. I live here, I raise a family here.
Yeah.
I don't want to see us line ourselves up for another 50-year problem of all these trucks coming down. Like, that's what we're known for right now. Like, people that come to visit, it's like, where are all these trucks coming from? They park them up the hill. They park them on gravel lots, and they're doing a lot of work on these things. We're a semi-truck village right now, and we're not doing it the right way. There's no fencing, there's no lights, no 24-hour security, like our neighbors to the west did.
Mhm.
So that's what I worry about, just granting variances. And you brought up, yeah, hey, the neighbors to the north, we're just looking to do what they do. Yeah, I'm against what is going on there, though. When you drive, I'm sure you're familiar, this is your thing. When you drive through, it's a female name road. What's the road up there by the gas station?
Christina.
Drive back there.
Mhm.
That's not Dundee to me. That's
Yeah.
raises my
Yeah,
eyebrows, to say the least.
I do. I hear your concerns. I think some of the thoughts I expressed maybe 18 months ago are going to be the same I'm going to say now, right? Like, whether your commissioner or the board is desirous to bring this property into the village, or even the property in blue back then, it was, this use is happening regardless, because it's there right now.
Yeah.
And so do you want to get a tax off it, meaning the parking tax? Do you want to regulate it? Do you want your police and fire to service it? Because your police and fire are going to service it anyways by the, what's it called? Will call.
Well,
or-
it's county right now. They're being annexed into Dundee, so it would be county.
Yeah, so, but if we stayed in the county, right,
Then you're gonna get a Kane County Sheriff or a Cook County Sheriff for that.
Or the East Dundee Fire Protection District would be
That's true.
servicing it, right?
Mhm.
You know, or the will serve cooperation code, is that what it is? Mutual aid, to where if there was a real emergency, East Dundee Police would have to service it via mutual aid. And the trucks and traffic would still be there. So how I look at this is just opportunity, right? It's the opportunity to do something greater here. And certainly the property in red has the highest probability of that, right? So that's my piece. You know, you guys are gonna tell me what you wanna do, and we go from there.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think I want to add on a little bit on what you were saying there, in that you know, I really do appreciate the way you talked about your investment and commitment to the town. I totally agree. I see all the work you guys have done. So as a resident, I trust, you know, your intentions, and you'll do right by this property, as long as you guys have control of it. But then, you know, we do also have to consider, if we put this on that property and things don't go the way you want and you sell it, somebody can go and build that whole thing a parking lot and make it a mine, right?
Mhm.
And we can't really do anything about that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's part of, you know,
Yeah.
I think the thought process that has to go on here. So.
Yeah, and I recognize what you're saying, right? And it's like, if, I'm just gonna speak what's coming to my mind, whether this is politically incorrect or not, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
Mhm.
You want the opportunity for a lot more acreage in the village, to expand the village's tax base, and have some type of development on this property. You've gotta take that and go
Mhm.
with it. You can't just carve it out, right?
Yeah.
So, it's the good with the bad.
Right, but making sure that it's done correctly, and I think variances are for somebody who's in turmoil and needs this to, their business cannot function without it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and that's what we would say when the feeling is, or at least maybe this is now maybe a little historical revision, but looking back when the first variances were granted for parking out there, it was because that really was nothing going on in the gravel, you know, where the big parking lots that I was back at Christina, like no development was there. And it was, you know, hitting the variance requirement of, there is no way to make any money on this property.
That, and I'm sure, I wasn't probably alive when this has happened, but I'm
Yeah.
sure the owner and said, I do a lot for you guys, like let me
Yeah.
park trucks there.
And it's
Okay.
been wildly successful, clearly, for them.
Well, that's an awesome business to be in, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I just, why not, if you're not planning on ever parking trucks there, what's the need for the variance?
It's very simple. The owners don't want to give up any rights that they have.
Yeah.
That's as simple
Yeah.
as it is, unfortunately, and it's like, right, everyone's got to answer to somebody, I got to answer to them. It's like, we have these rights now, we're not going to give them up. Like, we're just not.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, this will be, you know, we can talk about it when we get into our discussion a bit more. But definitely, I think something about, you know, I would like a board opinion on it. Because, I mean, this is the concept. And if you ever think of whenever a town is going to be bringing in outside land into it, you know, it's, part of it is making it more organized, more restriction,
Right.
more, you know, it's part of this new entity that will be in more government.
And following our
As
comprehensive
opposed to
plan.
being in, you know, the more unregulated area of the county. I mean, I think that's how this generally works. We set more, you know, conditions.
No, I see what you're saying.
You know,
Right now
so
it's
that's part of the
unregulated.
thing. You know, you come into the village and you get, you know, there's pros and cons, right? You get the benefit of being in the village, but, you know, then you have to follow the standards of the village.
Yeah.
You know, so to say, well, we want to come into the village, no, anyway. It's
For simple terms, why do you want to come to the village then?
Yeah, we
Because
think
you
it-
can do whatever you want right now.
we think this village is positioned well to attract meaningful development with the TIF in place.
Better than Hoffman Estates?
Yes.
I
And,
agree.
and now, I have to be careful what I say, but somebody who had an interest in the property that we were dealing with thought going across the street was a better way to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, great, I had encouraged them to say, nope, please go talk to East Dundee. Here's why you need to talk to East Dundee. They're business friendly, they promote development, you know, Hoffman Estates approves a Microsoft in town for a data center. Microsoft spends $500 billion, and 6 months later, the village drastically increases the utility tax. Welcome to Hoffman Estates.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's, I don't know that's the best way to do business.
Yeah.
And, and so, unfortunately, Hoffman Estates carries a big name with it. And
A lot more people too.
and developers that come from maybe outside the Chicagoland area attract to that big name and think that's the way to go. So if the decision of the board to not want to annex this property, they open that up to the property going to Hoffman Estates, if that's where another developer wants to bring it. Again, all cards on the table, this is an opportunity. It's what it is.
Yeah.
And there's things along with it that maybe you don't like so much, but it's things that have been in place for decades that seem to not be a problem out there. So
Yeah.
that's about as straightforward as I can
Yeah.
present it.
So, and to be in a village, you're really looking for the TIF advantages of being in a village, which you don't have access to just in the county, right?
We haven't gone and talked to the county about that. I don't even know that the county has done anything like that, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
is it possible? Do you know? In the county, can you do TIFs through the county?
The county, Cook County does not do TIFs generally.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, they're the only home rule county. I don't even believe that they could do that, but,
Yeah, so that's a
Could
strong.
could the county itself issue 6B? Or does the municipality on behalf of the?
for an unincorporated area, the county would not require, that, so the 6B is actually done through the county, and when there is a municipality involved, it requires their consent. I think it could do a 6B otherwise. Yeah, I think the advantage for annexation for any property is services. It's not just police and fire, it's utility services. It's the other things that actually come along with being connected, literally both physically and under jurisdiction.
Franco, do we do, what's our parking tax? And I know you might be guessing or. it might be
6%.
Per lot or per
Spot.
per spot.
Yeah.
Monthly income, 6%.
Gross income.
Theirs, yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start working then through to make sure we can mark off these and say we have no more questions. So, M1, any more about M1 or M1 on any individual part of that property? Okay. Then, special use for parking and storage. I think parking and storage, you know, we can separate in this part. Well, actually, I'm sorry, subdivision. Do we have any questions on the way they chose to subdivide it?
Well, that was existing, right? The
It's-
subdivision?
They're changing it. See, there's like 8 properties now, and they're going to 3. But it kind of looks
I
like
think-
this.
I think the PDF is up on one of the tabs.
Yeah, it is, so.
Yeah.
We can, there's a separate pin here that we consolidate with this parcel next door, is what we do, to kind of make this one big.
And then you have
parcel.
that one that's like it's skinny and interlocks with the one underneath it, right?
This one right here.
Yeah, and then the big one on the right, then too, like the 3 they got too. Yeah, some interesting shapes.
And what was the reasoning behind subdividing it like that? Just
We-
potential?
We wanted to
Clients.
follow somewhat the existing pins as well as the existing land uses because, one, we wanted it to be simple,
Yeah.
okay? We don't think what we did here is conducive for development. We wanted something simple and we wanted something to reflect the current pin structure. Why did we want to try to resemble the current pin structure? because more than likely, the plat of subdivision is gonna trigger the county to look at these pins again and reassess, and we wanna be able to say, nope, these are woods, this is farm, it's exactly basically how it was, you know, don't charge me $1 million for my land. Which they've tried to do for vacant land.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any questions then on that. For the special use, I think, you know, consider the special use on its own, I guess. You know, is this, you know.
For the
for
mineral
parking.
extrication?
Well, first for parking and
Extraction.
mineral, right? Like,
Oh.
so I consider if they did the special use, if they did the parking following all of our parking codes, you know, then that, considering that without the variances, you know, do we have any questions with the parking?
I don't have any questions with it other than, you know, if they didn't plan on parking big rigs on this property, they wouldn't be asking for variances on it.
Yeah.
So, do we want that to continue? Do we want to keep gravel parking lots on our main thoroughfare with no fencing, no greenery, no striped parking lots, no security,
Yeah.
mechanics going in and working on these vehicles? It's open 24 hours a day, an open parking lot for anything to happen in. Do we want that to continue in this village? Annexing is awesome, and like rezoning it, totally, let's set this up for success and do a layup.
Yeah, so.
What do we want to happen with this property?
So this, well, yeah, so this number 3 is mainly, it's for the special use for being able to park there at all. So consider they built a parking garage, like this piece of land, there's nothing, you know, do you have any questions that are towards the suitability of parking in this particular piece of land?
If they did it according to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
they did it
doesn't sound
according
the other
to-
variances,
yeah.
it's just.
You know,
Yeah.
Well, but this is, yeah, they're not going with village code then, because
Right.
well,
It-
when we
that's-
get to
that's
that,
what
we
they're
can talk all about that
Okay.
separate. But like, if they built it here, like, let's say this was a super hilly land and like it would be a really wonky parking lot, you know, we'd say that's an unsuitable place for
Right.
doing big
Well,
parking lots.
okay, I do have one question on there. There's some information in the packet about potential for the land settling. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, so, in the area in blue, kind of goes to a lot of the discussions we had at the hearings a year and a half ago, right? Like, a lot of that property is still being reclaimed, and
Including all the red, in the red zone?
a little bit in the red, very tiny amount of
Okay,
red.
so not
I'm gonna,
much.
no, I'll guess and say 5%, right?
Okay.
Very small amount. But some of these areas in blue have had 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 feet of fill put in there. Now, even running a compactor over that, right? You may only compact it at 95% or 92%, right? I mean, say you had 30 feet, right? You could have 1.5 feet of movement.
Right.
Right? And some
Yeah,
of-
what we're talking about, the
understand
red.
that the red is
Yeah, not so much in the red.
not so much there.
Yeah, that's all organic land.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
So,
just
so we're
really-
not worried about settling or anything there. I would,
If
I
there
mean,
was if there was a parking lot built on the red land, apart from the 5% that's at the bottom left or wherever,
I don't know, I have to look back.
settling wouldn't be a concern, is that correct?
It's a hard thing to answer without looking at geotechnical. Probably not, but I haven't looked at the geotechnical. I mean, I know you probably at least have to strip off the topsoil, which I think out there is anywhere from 12 to 18 inches. There's some form of gravel, cobbles, clay, silt underneath, you know, where is it good, where is it bad? I don't know, geotechnical needs to show that. I mean, there's an expense too to convert the area in red to parking
Yeah.
for reasons that I just
Yeah,
explained.
there's a lot there.
Understood.
Which
But
are not existent on the area in blue, because area
Yeah.
blue were,
And I'm remembering now too, we gave you asked for parking over the whole blue, and part of it was this compacting issue because they wanted to maintain their parking capacity as they continue to compact
Yeah, and-
parts of the property.
and I'm just going off memory, and I remember Commissioner Scarpelli and I shared the same concerns, and if they were going to expand, it could be no more than 25% of what is already there, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that,
Mhm.
so that the whole thing wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't that, it wasn't. yeah.
what it,
200 acres.
of parking.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next one, the mineral, and that's really, again, it's in that like 5% areas where you're doing.
Yeah, I
mineral.
don't know, I can calculate it. but
Yeah,
I'll go with
yeah,
that number.
yeah. Okay.
But there's not intention for new mineral extraction in the red?
Not right now.
They find a big gold deposit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not part of the mining division. I would have thought, the goal is to take every square inch of gravel out of it that you possibly can. And my understanding is as they made their way east, the gravel seam kind of ran out. And it just turned into kind of more junky material. So I would have thought if there was good material there, they would have taken it all out or they wouldn't have stopped.
Mhm.
Now, I know there's areas that you can't see on this map that are to the south, along the tollway that, yeah, do still have some areas where there's good gravel to take out, and we will get it out.
And then once that's out, that's gonna turn into a lake. And
No, they're
non-buildable.
filling those up too.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of those holes along I-90, they're in the process of reclamation. But there's also some material to pull out there too.
Okay. So any questions on the mineral? Okay. So then the next one is the asking for the variance on the material. Do we happen to know exactly what the county allows in regards to truck parking? Like, can you just park on dirt
No,
in the county?
anything above,
It's-
I'm sorry, anything above 4 spaces needs to be paved, striped, lit, fenced.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just,
Landscaping.
I understand the point being made. It's just, do we know what they could do, you know? Could they have that variance there? I mean, do you happen to know what the rules are for the county, in regards to making parking lots?
I haven't not looked those up, but
Yeah.
we have our uses in place
Mhm.
due to disconnection we did a number of years back. So we have the right to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and that's like some private agreement you did with the county?
Do you want to speak to that a little bit of the disconnection? He's asking about like the right to park trucks out there as part of the disconnection related to the county zoning.
Right, so as part of the county zoning, with the zoning administrator, there was an understanding that and pursuant to the county ordinance, there was a right to do it within Hoffman Estates. We disconnected from Hoffman Estates.
Mhm.
As part of that disconnection, then those rights trailed with it to the county.
Okay. So you received on this
Confirmation.
whole thing from Hoffman Estates at some point. You received you know, the ability to build the parking lots like the ones you built on the Blue Land.
No, we had the
Right to do
The
it.
right
We
to,
had the
yeah,
right to
right.
do it, and so we did it.
Yeah. So, and you did it to their standards.
No, we did it to our standards, and how we wanted to do it.
Yeah. So they were granting you the right to do it. Though Hoffman granted you the right to do it.
We had the right to park trucks pursuant to, and other uses, all the uses
Mhm.
listed here tonight, pursuant to an agreement with Hoffman Estates.
Yes.
And so we exercised that right and went out there and built that existing pad for purposes of the time of Odessa was here.
Yeah.
And that's how that pad came to be. And we did that for Odessa because we were a good business partner with them. We sold them that property, we helped them develop their facility, and they needed a need. So we helped meet that
Yeah.
need for them. And we built that pad to our standards.
Yeah,
By
that's
simply me notifying Peter Gugliotta, the Village of Hoffman Estates, I don't know if you ever remember Peter Gugliotta, I don't know if he's still there. We're building a pad. That's what it was.
mhm.
And I went out and built the pad.
Yeah. But then
That
the
was
one.
it.
So the truck parking though in the north though, that's on compacted material, right? The
It's
one.
on asphalt grindings.
Yeah, and so, but Hoffman, Michael, said that was okay when you built that one out. That's the one that I'm most concerned about, because that's what you're asking for in this one, is the asphalt grindings, not the concrete pad.
What's the concrete pad?
You were just talking about the pad, were you talking about the Odessa pad? At the bottom?
So Odessa Auto Auction's here.
Yeah, right.
And what I was trying to say is a number of years ago, Odessa came to us
Mm-hmm.
as a good business partner and said, Floaty, can you help us? We have a good problem. We have too much throughput volume and we need somewhere to park cars.
Yep.
Will you build us a pad to park cars?
And by pad, it's,
It's asphalt grindings.
yeah, and we can say it's a gravel park.
Oh, I thought that one was not gravel.
Odessa is.
Pad is up there, no, so, no, Odessa has concrete. So
Yeah,
we went to
Odessa has
that.
Concrete.
And
Yeah.
I think you keep asking about scope of building these and engineering standards, and what I'm trying to say is like, no, we just told Hoffman Estates, we're building this on behalf of Odessa, and we did it. And that's
Yeah.
what we did.
Yeah, and Hoffman, like their building inspector didn't say, this is how you have to build it.
No,
No. Okay.
no.
That's interesting.
Well, I thought that was county land. The blue was county before it was annexed into East Dundee.
And before that was Hoffman Estates.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So-
then when they disconnected, they went back out into the county, and the county said, based on existing conditions, this is allowed to continue.
Okay.
Yes. So more or less, we're in the situation we're in is because Hoffman just let them do what they wanted to do,
Well,
right?
before the property was ever part of Hoffman Estates, which there's a long history on that, as part of the original Sears development,
Mm-hmm.
we had the right to do the uses that we have today. Mining started on this property 50-plus years
Mhm.
ago with the original owners. And they've been doing these things from day one. It's hard for me to articulate to you on how I tell an owner that I'm gonna strip them of a right or use that they currently have, that they've had for decades, that have been the cornerstone of their business. I don't know how to say that other than, you picking up and moving to another town and me saying, when you move in that other town, I'm gonna take away your right to vote and you have to travel with 3 people in a car at once.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna say, well, no, I don't want my rights taken away like that. That's kinda how the owners feel about it, right? Like, this property's been with them from day one. And they've lived and breathed it, they've raised their families off of it, they've built a business that has contributed greatly to the county and the state. And to try to get them to let go of something that's been part of them for 50-plus years, it's like a non-starter. It's like a non-starter.
Yeah,
Right.
So another way maybe to say it is that, and Stu is familiar with this line of cases, it talks about land ownership carrying with it a bundle of rights.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's how ownership looks at this, is that there are a number of sticks within that bundle, and that's part of the package, right? So the annexation, the request for relief,
Mhm.
it's all part of that bundle of rights that they have, and they want to carry with them into the village.
Yeah, so,
But then, those bundle of rights don't fit with our codes and regulations. So then we need to give up our bundle of rights to say,
Well, you have the right to do that by granting the variances, so it's not that.
with this, if there's a hardship, if
yeah.
there's a reason, right, and this is a fair discussion. If there's a justifiable reason for that variance. It's hard to sell that, hey, we have to do this to continue business.
Yeah, there's like real criteria we have, our board, you'll have a different one when you talk with the board, but for us, I mean, we have to say like, what is the reason to grant the variance? And we have very specific criteria we have to follow, which makes it very difficult. It'd be pretty much saying anybody who wants to be annexed into the city, we just gotta let them do this. Yeah, which it would be everybody, it'd be like, what?
We're
Yeah.
let's get into parking then. Yeah. But
Yeah, so,
we're setting ourselves up for a long time of turmoil if we keep doing this. And like they can do and they do. Well, our neighbors to the north, we're just asking to mirror their variances. Right. That was a huge mistake from our village, in my opinion. We're dealing with that now, and I hope we can right the ship on that eventually. But then I'll just say it until I'm blue in the face. Our neighbors to the west did this correctly, and they did it on a landfill. I've been on the property. You couldn't do anything. That's the reason for a variance. They couldn't do anything with that property. There are batteries under that ground, and they still found a way to pave it, light it, secure it. They have a gas station there now, and they're doing great financially on both sides. The village is doing well with it. The company is doing well with it. We could do the right thing as a village and right this ship a little bit, or we can just say, why fight it? What's the point? We can continue getting off I-90 with our families and driving through a dust storm and looking and seeing a semi-truck factory of doing tire changes and hundreds of tires sitting in piles, and not even semi-trucks, boats, RVs. It's a free-for-all. It's not where we should go. I want Plody to continue, and I want this to be our land and their land and do an awesome development. They build great buildings. It looks fantastic, and it sounds like they helped the village. With the Walmart stuff, we needed that. But we shouldn't have to compromise that much and drop our standards to just do that.
okay, so with the variance 4, which is about removing the, the pavement, you guys, if you did parking, it's the asphalt shavings is what you're requesting.
Right.
Just curious, why do you ask for the asphalt shavings if you had no restriction on this before?
We're just trying to conform with your code.
Conform with like the other property
Yeah.
usages, so to match what
Yeah.
other people are doing. Okay.
Well, to conform with our code would be to
Well,
pave it.
Well, it's interesting when you say with the code.
Okay, I stand
Conform with the
corrected.
other variances.
To- Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I said that wrong. Thank you for correcting me.
Just conform
yeah.
with other variances that were given.
Yeah, which, I mean, I didn't realize how they all get filed, but they do get put all in with the rest of our code. So they get filed as like amendments. Is that how you describe it?
Annexation agreement.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next one is on the screening and landscaping. And again, you're looking for the same thing as everybody else in
Well,
terms
right,
of
and
requirement
consistent
there.
relief as with the blue property, as Ryan mentioned earlier, and consistent with
Mhm.
what the village board has granted and made a legislative determination on in the past.
Yep. And then illumination, it's the same one as before.
Correct.
So any questions on those?
I think we kind of understand.
So I really do appreciate your, answering our questions in this. I know takes a while, and we're missing that beautiful day you referenced in the beginning of the call.
I'll be
so.
here all night.
They do it sometimes.
So, are there any more questions that we have for them? And then also, based on the discussion we've had, there is this item number 7, in regards to additional relief to continue agricultural cultivation. Are there was there anything you had in mind with that? I guess I can talk to Franco when he gets back, about something for the section 7 on our agenda.
Yeah, I think zoning it to M1, I don't believe calls out in the zoning ordinance to allow for farming or agricultural use, and my immediate use is to continue to farm that property. I want to continue to do that.
And that's really, what part is being farmed right now?
So, the driving range is being farmed. So, well,
Really?
it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to see because these are all trees here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I drive on
Can't see
Beverly
past
all the
those
time,
trees.
so.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love
you
that.
It just
can't-
looked like grass to me.
Yeah.
You can't see it, right?
Yeah,
This is farm now, and then this piece down here is farmed. And it's hard to see because there's a good 50, 100 feet of trees along Beverly Road.
Yeah.
So you can see in as you get down to Trillium, you can get a peek in here, you can see the farm field.
Yeah, right there.
And you can see the driving range, but you can't see anything else. You know,
Yeah.
you can't even see it from 72.
Right. And we would want, and then you would want, yes, then you would need farming on, I mean, it's at least 2 of the pins that you're proposing have farming on them presently.
And
They might
I may
bleed
farm all
over.
of it at some point, you know. I mean,
What are you
farmers-
growing on it? I mean, in that, then the northern part?
Corn,
Okay.
soybeans primarily, rotate them. I think in the last year we were doing wheat driving range.
Yeah, so that would.
I miss it.
The wheat is what I probably didn't notice anything. Yeah, I mean, because literally every time I drive by it, I still look for the fire truck that used to be out there, right, back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so any more questions on that?
Well,
We'll have to add a recommendation for a,
I mean, would it have to be a variance then?
yeah. So Franco, to allow for agricultural production on this property, even though it's,
If
you
it's
know,
M1.
M1, is that a zoning
It'd
variance?
be legal non-conforming.
We'd have to just say what would we say then? Just allow for a legal non-conforming use?
Yeah, like Rosie's is a,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we would cite based on, you know, I mean, I really do like the idea, you know, them coming to the village. It's something that they're already doing, you know, let them do it.
Yeah.
If you remember when you were here the last time and we were talking about the parking, like, I was very okay if the parking like was gonna stay how it was, you know, that would be, you know, you're like, essentially, it's like a grandfathered in type of thing when you came in. So with the farming, you know,
I have no problem with it, I'm
Yeah.
just wondering what's the best way for us to do it.
Yeah, so we'll, and you.
Yeah, so it is, in general, your code and most codes don't allow for a use variance. Just in general, variances are really kind of dimensional, or dimensional or have to do with materials. You don't want to allow either a use as a permitted or special. In the case of when you bring in a use through annexation that has continued, that you consider to be pretty inoffensive, you don't want, you just say, you know, we'll allow this to continue. We're not going to put a specific amortization schedule on it where they have to stop it within a particular amount of time. But also, it's not appropriate for them to do a text amendment. Like, it wouldn't make sense for them for this one piece of property, which they do not plan to keep farming long-term, to come in and say, we'd like to amend the M1 district to allow this. So I think just basically saying that, the commission is in support of considering this a non-conforming use going forward without any sort of time limitation or amortization period.
Okay.
Or restriction.
Yeah, restriction, yeah, right.
You just have to follow the laws of the state of Illinois. Okay, do we have any more comments or, I'm sorry, any more questions for
No.
the applicants? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay, so let's go through then, I guess, the findings of fact. Okay. And since so the fact that, actually first here, with 7 not being, you know, just such as we talked about it in the public hearing, but it isn't like a motion or a public hearing, or it's not like such relief. I mean, will we just make a comment on agenda item 7 when we get to it, like a recommendation to the board in regards to this? Or should we?
Yeah, yeah.
Just-
I mean, I think it just goes in. This is, I know this is different than how this commission normally works. There are some communities that tag on that type of sentence in every one of their agendas, and sometimes it can be abused. In this case, because the uses being suggested are so broad, I think that, so I think you can just reflect, you could do a motion saying, you know, in regard to section 7,
Yeah.
I'd like to,
I'm thinking actually, we might even be able to, though, here when we do this first one on the rezoning to M1.
M1,
We just
yes.
put it into that.
yes, I think, because you're basically saying that it's appropriate for
Yeah.
all permitted and special uses in M1, as
Yes.
well as declaring that's.
Yeah, perfect. Glad we talked about that. Okay, that's the first one we're doing. So, no, this is that's the parking lot. Let's do what's that one? Do we not have a findings of fact for the rezoning? Okay. So, okay, so let's then talk about the rezoning one first. And you guys can sit down. We can't actually ask you questions anymore.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the first one will be then the rezoning. And do we have any discussion on this?
No.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to recommend for approval the rezoning of the properties described in agenda item 1 of our agenda of tonight with the, so rezoning, oh gosh, no, let me start that one over. Because I gotta provide make sure I get the subdivision in there as well. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to request for approval the rezone of the Cook County parcels referenced in section 1, contingent on the also approval of the subdivision, supporting all uses of M1 with the additional relief to allow for legal non-conforming use of agricultural cultivation.
I'll second.
Commissioner.
Is there discussion? Just so I'm clear, this is 1 and 2 now, right? Because did you include the subdivision in there as well?
I said it's contingent on that.
Contingent.
So it will be voided if that one isn't. They both have to be done, right, in conjunction.
Good. Okay, no more discussion.
Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner?
Yes. And number 2, I'd like to make a motion to recommend for approval a plat of subdivision for the property as described in the packet.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay. Now number 3. So we'll still say the stuff about subdivision and being in conjunction, because the board, we want to make sure that all of these have to go together, when the board reviews this. Now this one, we have a findings of fact for the special use on the 24-hour parking.
We also have staff recommendations.
Yes. Let's pull those up. Okay. And this one you pulled, right, are the ones that came from the blue property?
Yes, the already board approved the annexation agreement.
Okay. So let's go really quickly through the findings of fact. If you have looked at that, I'll go. I mean, if you have the full packet, you can take a look. But I'll read through them just to be sure. This first is the use is not injurious. The use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted or substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood. We agree it's compatible with the area. The use will not impede the normally and orderly development improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. It's in line, I think, with the additional M1 stuff, so no. Adequate utilities, roads, access roads, drainage, or necessary facilities have been or will be provided. We've been hearing about the work that's being done on that, yes. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress, so as designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. I think these are very large streets. I don't see an issue with that. And we don't have
property plan right now, so you don't know capacity or anything like that.
Yeah. Then how is the proposed special use in harmony with the purposes, goals, objective, policies, and standards of the Village of East Dundee Comprehensive Plan, zoning ordinance, other plan, program, ordinance adopted or under consideration pursuant to visual goals by the village? So it's the standard, you know, land use development and economic development. So, do we have any changes we want to make on these findings of fact?
No.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve the findings of fact as provided in the packet, as provided in the packet. Oh, on for the findings of fact for the special use of parking, section 157.065A101 of the zoning ordinance for the pins that are now going to be rezoned in according to the plot of subdivision in the previous recommendation.
I'll second. Right?
Any discussion? No? Okay.
This is just the one finding of fact, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
We could do all the other ones and the same if everyone can see them. Yeah, you have a printout? Yeah. So votes?
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner?
Yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Great.
Yeah, 2 absences.
Second. So that one. Okay, and then the next one, let's do the mineral rights. So, any questions on the mineral rights? Since you guys can all see them, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna read all of those. So would someone like to make a motion on approving, or? I feel like I'm making all the motions.
I'll make a motion to approve findings of fact for the mineral rights request as given in the packet.
Second.
Yep. Let's,
Mhm.
yeah, let's go.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay, 5, 2, 7, 22, 26. That one. Okay, so now the findings of fact, these next 3 are gonna be all of the variances. I think we may end up, is there, but they all answered the same.
I want to say that there was some difference, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Oh, there's one that's
There is
different.
at least one difference.
It's this one you said yes. This one. The other 2 say no. So the one. So they said they wouldn't, yeah, but that one, okay.
We should probably talk through it.
Yeah. So this one, so yeah, let's go through all of these and then say if it's applicable to all of them. So,
You want to say which one?
yeah, so the first one we're gonna say, relative to the packet, we're gonna strike the, first one. So this is on the variance for, open off-street parking being with a compacted base. Question 1, it should not be yes, it should be no. Right?
Because
What page is that on? If you're on the
It's-
internet.
26?
Thank you.
Right, because this is the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return, because it's a no, because that's a not. It could read the.
so if we're saying no, we have a double negative, so we're saying it can.
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure that's clear.
Yes, that's the way I read it. Okay, so all of these are the same, so let's go through these. So, in general, with all these variances, which is the landscaping and screening, the lighting, and the paving, they're all kind of, I think, fitting the same piece. So, 1, we feel like that value could be made, this land can return value or have a reasonable return without these. I think the testimony during the hearing indicated that, as the goal is to develop them. We just need to find the developer. They don't even intend to necessarily use any of these things, so there's clearly a use beyond parking that can be done with this property. We just need to develop it, right?
I don't think we can say that they don't plan on using it in any way because it's so broad. They don't know what they want
Yeah.
to do with it.
Just if that's what was said in the hearing, though, right?
It was said in the hearing, yeah. So the fact that the owner said in the hearing that there's nothing holding them back from developing it
Sure.
implies that there's a possibility that it could be used for something. other
Agreed.
than this.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Yes. So the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. This one, we're saying no. I think that would be, we would put them in the group of people being annexed into the county, right? Any of these border properties that would be annexed into the county would be in the same situation as them. So that makes them not unique. Correct. The variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. Yes, it will not, so correct, that's a yes.
Well,
I would.
I,
Huh?
again,
Go ahead.
I think maybe it would.
It would? Which ones?
Well, I think what we've been talking about with the truck parkings that we have
Mhm.
right now, regardless of the fact that they exist, still are altering the character of the community, or at least the desired character of the community
Yeah.
as reflected in the code. And
Or even the character that it has right now. It will be altering it.
Yeah, I think what is hard, I mean, we can definitely take that, you know, mainly because we don't have any type of site plan here. We don't know where the parking could be built. One of the things that is nice about our parking in general is it's set back from our roads. It's generally not right up in your business.
Agreed. I think the point I'm making, though, is that in any of the three of these variances, it's going against what our code is intending for us to have
Yeah.
for these particular types of institutions. So that would, by its definition, change the essential character.
Yeah, well, what do you guys think of then, the counterpoint to that is the fact that all of their neighboring properties have these things, they'll just,
Right.
it won't change the way the
Right.
general area looks.
I guess well, how far do we want to take that? I mean, the locality, if we include all of East Dundee, it's changing it.
Mhm.
It's changing it in that you're going from this many of one thing to this many of that same thing,
Yeah.
so it's still change, even if it's just
Yeah.
by degree.
So I'll just say the way I've usually read into this question would be is if you're having businesses, you know, like next to each other,
Okay.
you know, like in a adjacent, and then you put one in with a special use that's really not fitting. We could say, I think it came up before, you know, you may not want a funeral home in, you know, adjacent to other buildings. It changes that, like what we're trying to do in that specific area. But if you guys, you know, if the majority,
Well, I'm raising
Feels-
the question. If that's your
Yeah.
reading of it, then I'm.
I
fine
look,
with it.
I mean, I typically look, and maybe the lawyer can provide some insight, the attorney can provide some insight on this, but I mean, I highly favor the immediate neighbors and then
Whatever's adjacent.
start going down, right? The farther you get away, the less.
Yeah, and you can say that it is maybe mirroring the neighbors who are operating with variances to our
Yes.
code.
Yeah, yeah.
How, like Trustee Hurst said, how far we wanna take that, right? Right now, it's forest, an old driving range with oak tree, right?
Yeah.
This will, I think
This
by
will,
definition.
this will change the property if these, but what we have to think of though with the variances is, you know, we said they could do the special use parking. We've already said that, right? Or we said that we, you know, we recommended that. So we're saying a parking lot is fine. We're saying it specifically that if it doesn't have lighting, it doesn't have landscaping, and if it doesn't have pavement, that is what's gonna make it stand out.
I guess the
That's the
way
variances.
I'm reading it is essential character is defined by what our code says the character of our village is.
Yeah.
So any variance
Okay.
is
Okay.
going to change the character that we've laid out in the code.
I-
That's how I'm
No,
reading it, but-
I really, I appreciate that perspective, right? Which is, you know, we believe our character is defined by the set of ordinances that we've established and standards we've established for our, you know, for our businesses. And when you combine all of these together, it pulls at a significant distance from what we consider Dundee's standard.
Yeah, I believe that would be changed.
No. So,
I mean, I think one of the things that, when you, the word locality is not ideal here. It is kind of broad when you're talking about what is changing. You could look at the surrounding zoning, you know, what else in the M1 district is affected by that. You know, really the question is, would this variance be disruptive in a way that it would really stand out and be noticeable? And that is a judgment call.
Right.
So that's part of that's part of what you're being asked to make a determination on. And
So-
once again, you are a recommending body, and the board can decide, you know, that these variances are appropriate even over a negative recommendation. But if that's where you are, that's where you
yeah.
are.
So, I mean, the way I feel, and I'll just be very clear on that, is I think it's tied to the similar operating.
Immediate vicinity.
The similar operating, people coming with this similar request in the similar area, is it different? I don't, that's not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, in this case, you know.
Similar to the surrounding area.
Yeah, I mean, it's matching. It's not like we're making it be different, and it's not gonna be injurious to their neighbors.
I think the neighbors are already in.
Yeah, we're already entering our roads and our area.
Yeah, right. No one's there, they're not gonna complain about it, you know. They're less likely to complain about it than actually some of the other places that we are, because they're so far away from everybody. You know, it's not like, it's right next to a residential area. I mean, maybe, you know, if we did a truck parking like right next to Odessa, they would, but that'd be an off. So, I think anyone watching, based on how we decide, they'll understand the thought process. I would say, I would go for keeping it at yes, based on, you know, I think the thing that's dominated in how I look at it, but, you know, the dominating conclusion in my mind. But if you guys want to switch to this other interpretation, or if you think that's more compelling for how we, because, I mean, think about it, like, then we would look at it that way on all of these,
Right.
going forward,
Yeah.
Right.
right? But I'm okay with that being, if that's what we want to do.
I think that's a good point. Either way we decide, we should continue to apply it the same way for the
Yes.
future.
Yes. But we've never had a discussion this deeply on this before, so.
Cool.
So, what do we want to do?
Yeah, I believe that it would be a no. The variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. I think that granting that will alter the essential character of that locality. I believe that granting that and having a gravel parking lot will alter the character of the locality.
Another option here is that even if, suppose 3 want to continue with that particular reading, or whoever,
Right.
you can still vote no on the findings of fact.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Yeah. I think it's kind of referring to the locality, the immediate area around there. I mean, I'm not in favor of, you know, all the variances. They're a paving company, so I mean, they should be able to pave,
yeah.
you know, their own parcel, effectively, and there's other people in the area that have done that. And I would, maybe there's some common ground that we can make with them, that in the future, when they have a tenant or are developing the land, that, you know, we can strike an agreement, like, you know, impress the people across the street, you know. Theirs looks different from yours looks better. This kind of represents East Dundee and what we'd like to see,
Well said.
you know what I mean?
Yep. Okay, so do you want to change it?
I could be convinced either way, but I agree with you, Kim. I think it's the locality, the
Okay.
parking next door,
Okay,
yeah.
so do we want,
I would say
we got
yes.
3 yes here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
would.
then you want the no, and,
My natural reading there would be no, but
okay, so if we got the 3, then we'll
Sure.
keep it with the yes, and we'll take the 2 no's.
Yep.
That'll be fine. I mean,
Votes are
anyone watching,
exciting.
I love it.
aren't they?
That's the point of this, right?
Why we did
now
that.
you guys go and throw a curveball, vote differently. No, it's not locked in until he takes it. Okay, the conditions upon which the petition for variation is based.
Are we on number 4, I think?
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Yeah, the particular physical surroundings, shape, or topographical conditions of the specific property involved would bring a particular hardship from the owner to distinguish as a mere inconvenience if the regulation is strictly enforced. So that one is no as well, right? That's correct.
Mhm.
So no particular hardship. The conditions upon which the petition for variation is based would not be applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification. Also, no, everybody would want to do this. The purpose of this variation is not exclusively based on a desire to make more money out of the property. What's interesting about this, we vote on this yes a lot.
I would say it's yes.
So,
The purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money out of the property. If they were to pave it, they'd be spending money. This
Yeah.
gives them an opportunity to not have expenses.
yes, I, like, the part why it's making me think a little bit differently right now is because they're not gonna make it.
One more.
They're motivated, they're motivated purely on maintaining rights.
Right.
It's
To make money, right?
yes, to not, I guess, yes, we can
But
say.
would the conversation be different if it wasn't about maintaining the rights?
Yeah, so.
If they weren't
Yeah.
coming into it with that?
And
Right, I don't know
Conversation
if
would be
we're
different.
Discussing
read
maintaining
in.
their rights. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I
so
love
I-
being able to discuss it in so many different ways. But we are, like, we'll go to the top.
Well, right, the argument would be is they want to maintain their rights to open up, to keep as many options for making money available to them as possible.
How about that?
I mean, of course they do.
Good,
But-
right.
Good
for
Their
you.
business. That's
Yeah.
what I want to do too.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, okay. So you want to switch this one to yes?
Yes. Wait, hold on. The purpose of the variation.
So as a no, it's saying that it is based exclusively upon a desire to make money.
Purpose of the very,
Yes.
oh, correct, so we leave it as no.
We leave it as
Leave
no.
it as-
Sorry about
Yes,
that.
great. Okay, the alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person, it's not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property. So this is saying
It has been.
it has been. Again. So this is typically applied when somebody like, you know, changes their property while owning it and then needs a variance for it. You know?
Look at this. Yeah, we're in this situation. That's
Where, so nothing's requiring them to have to do these variances.
Other
So I don't
than-
think there's
other
a thing
than
that's,
annexing.
yeah, other than annexing. So we can leave this as a no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
The granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare, or injurious to the other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located. So this one goes back to the locality one,
Location,
Mhm.
yeah.
I would say. I think so, you two guys, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if it was
you
located
want
somewhere
same
else,
as
it'd be
the
a
other
different,
one.
but yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same.
So-
Public welfare seems broader to me, but anyway, we don't have to have the same discussion again.
Okay, so leave that one at yes, then, okay. The proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties or substantially increase the danger of fire or otherwise endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair the property values within the neighborhood.
Ugh. Stacking semis on top of each other without fire hydrants. Two means of egress, that, it says fire, that, you are adding a fire risk by doing that.
Yeah, because we have the one, it's the illumination,
I think we most definitely increase the danger of fire by having a parking lot with an unknown amount of semi trucks or RVs or boats.
so, I mean, we have to look at it.
That's different than the paving though, I
Yeah,
guess.
the
in this
paving and the
particular
lighting and the screening. These are the three things.
Right, we're not talking about parking exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it truly, the special use, if that was the thing with the special use,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't, and we know that as a fact, that there's, there has been, there are service calls out to the parking lot, and there are nasty fires when there's fires.
We don't even know
Probably-
what's burning in them. Is there
Yeah.
semi trucks with unknown contents?
Yeah. It's nice having a firefighter on the commission. Okay, so it looks like on all of these, we want to make sure the first one is no on every, on the one. Well, I could just say it on all of them. Well, no, I'll say it on the one that we had to change. And then everything else is gonna be as
Yeah.
included in the packet. Okay? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the findings of fact as provided in the packet for the three variances that we had public hearings on today, with the amendment of changing the answer of one on the finding of fact variance for the section 157149, the zoning ordinance requiring all open off-street parking on the parking areas on the property be improved with compacted macadam base or equal not less than 4-inch thick surface with asphalt, concrete, or comparable hard surface. All weather or dustless material is approved by the village. And
I'll second
any more discussion on these three?
Commissioner Beck?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
No.
Commissioner Hurd?
No.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Great. Now I get to sign all three of these. So that's 3 yeas, 2 nays, 2 absent.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't need to, oops. We don't have to have her hit like 4 of our commission to pass anything, right? We just do majority of who's here, majority of quorum. Right. It's beautiful for the okay. So now we can go to these variances. So for the first one, I think all of
I'm
these,
sorry, Mr. Chairman, but we need to do the special use though, correct, first? Number 3?
didn't we,
I think we just did the.
we did the findings of fact? Okay, so yes, we can do the actual, yes, the recommendations. Thank you. So, I think following the findings of fact that we did on the special uses, I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the board the special use permit for outside vehicle parking and storage, as well as the special use for mineral extraction and batch operations.
I'll second.
Okay, we would,
There's staff recommendations we might want to
Mhm.
take into account.
yes, so I actually, because I need to put that into the motion. So, I withdraw my motion. I need a second for that, right?
Can't he
Or
amend?
just amend it?
He made the first, can't he amend
Can I
it?
amend it?
Actually, yeah, I think you can.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to amend my motion by adding the additional staff recommendations matching the previous property adjacent to this, which includes all parking spots must be labeled and identifiable, a record capable, or a record capable security camera must be installed and maintained at the property, and all portions of the property used for the permitted proposed use must be maintained in a condition that is accessible and traversable by public safety vehicles and public works vehicles for the purpose of responding to emergency conditions or events.
And we need the same for the mineral extraction, right? If we're doing it as a batch.
Yes, including the additional staff recommendations for completion of annexation, that none of these special uses will go into effect until the property is fully annexed into the village, and all ordinance duly adopted by the corporate authorities along with satisfaction of all conditions attached thereto. Compliance with regulations except to the extent specifically provided. Otherwise, this ordinance and annexation agreement, the development, use, operation, and maintenance of proposed use and subject to terms of the annexation agreement, property must comply at all times with all applicable village codes and ordinances as the same have been or may have amended from time to time. Compliance with applicant's proposal, the development, use, and maintenance of the property must comply with the annexation agreement and applicable narrative description of the proposed use. And the reimbursement of village costs. The applicant must pay to the village promptly upon presentation of written demand or demands thereof of all legal fees incurred or accrued in connection with the review, negotiation, preparation, or consideration with the ordinance. Payments of all such fees and costs and expenses for which demand has been made must be made certified or cashier's check, for the applicant will be liable for and must pay upon demand all publication costs and recording costs incurred with the village publications. Recordings required in connection with the aforesaid matters. Okay.
You need a second for if you're amending your motion? Okay, I will
And-
second.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any discussion on these? Nope, okay.
Okay, Commissioner Fett,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes. Okay, so now on to the variation. So the first one, variation 157149. This,
Is it A, B, or C?
hmm?
149 A, B, or C?
Yes, 149B.
Thanks.
Okay. And, okay, so,
We will be doing a motion for each of these.
yes, yeah, I think so. So what we want, so for, well, are they all gonna be, can we do a motion all together for these? We should probably do them all separate.
You can declare anything to be omnibus. The
Yeah.
question is, will the vote be the same
Yeah,
for
right.
each item? If there's any consideration that the vote may break differently on each item,
Yeah.
then you should do them individually.
Yeah, we can do them
I think
individually.
individual would be right. Okay.
So the first one is the surfacing. I think, well, in the end, we did the same findings of fact for all of these,
Mhm.
which I think the findings of fact indicates that it doesn't meet our standards for granting variances. From our, the things that we have to put forward. So is that the general feeling?
Yeah, that's the way I
Okay.
feel.
So, do you want to then just, someone want to go then through the, or would you like me to make the motions?
I'll make a motion. Yeah, I move that the Planning and Zoning and Historic Commission recommend the denial of the requested variance from section 157.149B of the zoning ordinance, which requires all open off-street parking areas of the property be improved with a compacted macadam base and surface with asphaltic asphaltic, concrete, or comparable hard surfaced, all-weather, dustless material approved by the village.
Second. I don't think any discussion is needed.
Now that's, the motion was to deny it?
Deny.
Correct.
Deny, okay.
Okay, I'll take roll. Commissioner Fech?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Herb?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay, on to then the next one, 157149, screening and landscaping. Do we need any additional discussion on this?
My comment would probably just be that it seems like this property is already pretty well screened by currently existing trees.
But
Good point.
they can take,
Yes, they do. All the trees down.
yeah, yeah.
It probably will get cut down, eventually if things go the way we hope, and they can develop the property.
Parking has a setback on front yards, so at least 40.
Okay.
Sorry, can you say that again?
So the parking has to be behind the front yard setback, we should have one that's 40 feet, so we would have a 40-foot buffer
40 feet buffer
along the road.
of land, but that's not saying
Trees.
shrubs, trees.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just space,
Yeah.
40 feet of space.
So like
What's
length of-
between, I think what's,
What? Sorry.
what's between the space is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and it's,
I guess my thinking is, why would they cut down those trees in that case if they have that buffer?
yeah. But, you know, that's we don't get to decide that.
Yeah, I think,
You grant it or not, right?
Fair.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we can't do a condition on it, I mean, we could. A variance with condition that it can't be, you can't cut down any trees that would have met the landscaping screening requirements of the lot. Right?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
So I'd make a motion to deny the variance from section 157.149C of the zoning ordinance requiring screening and landscaping for all open automobile parking areas on the property containing more than 4 parking spaces, including screening on each side adjoining or fronting of any residential or institutional property by wall or fence not less than 5 feet high or more than 6 feet high, or in a densely planted compacted hedge not less than 5 feet high in height, and requires placement of the wheel stops of masonry steel, every timber, not nearer than 5 feet from the street line in districts from where a front yard is not required, or from side lot lines.
I'll second that.
I don't think we need any more discussion.
Commissioner Fech?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Herb?
Yes.
Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay, so before we do the last one, on lighting requirements, one of the things that I would like to do is provide some additional guidance to the board, given how they typically will vote to approve these, grant the variances, that we look at adding some guidance on if they choose to grant them. These are the things we would like them to think about. So I know I talked with John a little bit before, like put like some type of time limit for review, some way.
Or a sunset?
Yes, something like that. Something that, helps to address some of our concerns, Because I think what we all want is exactly, it seems to be the same thing. We
Yep.
want them to develop the property into a great property. They want to develop the property into the best, best improved property for them. We all want, I think, the same thing, so let's try to make sure we don't get in trouble, if something goes wrong. If we don't, things change, we don't end up with a different owner, some different type of, then determination in forever truck parking in this
Yeah,
location that
it-
doesn't meet our standards.
Yeah, and I also think we should get out of the business of voting on variances for people to run their business.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah. I mean, we can say that again. I think that's it's my biggest concern with this. I think
Mhm.
it's, how many of these have we had to come to and do?
We-
Like,
we-
I don't,
yeah.
we don't need to be hearing variances on this. Like, if our village wants to approve them, let's put in ordinance that allows it to just go through, so we don't have to go through
Right.
this. You know?
Yeah. Any suggestions on how you'd want to word that, other than,
Sunset, so like a
Sunset.
50-year variance?
it sounds familiar.
I would say that zoning relief granted, pursuant to an annexation agreement is pretty much sacrosanct for at least the term of that zoning, for that annexation agreement, which is 20 years. So that's kind of that would be
20
one-
years?
It's a
20 year,
benchmark because it matches the annexation agreement.
that would be one.
So what's the details of this annexation agreement, I guess? I'm not
Well,
familiar with it.
the first annexation agreement was 20 years, right, Stu?
By statute, an annexation agreements are the one context in which a municipality can really do contract zoning. They can't do it without going through this process, but basically they can say, if you come in, you will get this zoning. But the terms of an annexation agreement under law can only run for 20 years. That doesn't mean that you can then take away their zoning, but if you wanted to put a sunset, basically all the kind of the commitments on either side go for 20 years. So that would be one sunset that you
Yeah.
could put in there. If you wanted to suggest that as part of your recommendation for denial. It's kind of a denial.
Yeah. And also, if we were gonna do, we would have done it on the previous.
Yeah, I
voting
mean,
on variances.
I didn't want to have to say the same thing on every single one. So
Right.
we'll get this in on that.
You're just kind of suggesting verbal direction.
Yeah, that's all we can do. I mean, we're only doing verbal direction for them anyway.
It'll be a note at the bottom after the PZHC's recommendations and my memo that further the PZHC wanted to note to the board to consider X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and, and I know as we all got the email from Scott, right,
Mhm.
people watch our
Yeah.
things, they pay attention to what we say, so, I
Yeah, I'd
think-
make a verbal note to, consider following the recommendations of the planning and zoning board.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I would recommend.
Well, it complies with the village plan. We fall back on the village plan that we created and trying to make the village the best it can be.
Yeah.
I might need reading glasses sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
Turn up your brightness.
Okay. So, I would like to make a motion to recommend denial of the variance for 157.149D with the additional guidance that if this variance is granted or other ones in this session tonight, that the board consider tying the conditions that were listed by staff in the variances, as well as looking towards establishing a sunset condition along with variances, perhaps tied to the annexation agreement, which I hear to be 20 years. And also consider adjusting the city ordinance to provide general relief for these types of situations so we don't have to go through the variance procedure.
I'll second that.
Okay, Chair Feck, Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, that gets us through everything. Thank you so much for your participation tonight, and we really appreciate your participation in the village. A lot of what we have to do in this commission is tied to specific criteria. So I look forward to you hearing your hearing in the village, which should be
August 3rd.
August 3rd. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time tonight and hearing us out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys develop there. Excited about it. And we didn't get to see any of the big presentations. Oh, it's all up there. Okay.
I just brought boards in case, but you guys are sophisticated.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, have a good night.
Will this
Thank you.
monitor set us back a few years?
Okay, so, as we have no other business, well, this concludes our new business. As we have no other business, do we have any staff reports?
We don't have any applications for public hearings for the August 6th meeting. Oh, sweet. So if the chair wishes, we can cancel that meeting.
Or we can just meet.
Yeah, well, we could do like, it's like a teacher institute thing.
You know, to be honest with you, in the future, when we do have something that we don't have new business, we don't have to cancel, and you can have a meeting to discuss what you just recommended to the board of crafting text amendments
There's something
to
to
the
that.
code to, you know, why are you here each
Yeah.
time for these three particular
Yeah.
Yeah.
reasons? You know, you can start crafting an idea for the board to start to chew on and go that route.
How does an agenda work with that?
The chair could put something on
Yeah.
other business and we could have a discussion item on it. It doesn't have to be a motion. It
Good
just has to be a
idea.
discussion.
That's a good
item.
idea.
Yeah, this is a regular meeting already approved by the PZH, by the
Yeah.
village board.
Yeah.
So you could have a discussion items.
Cool.
Yeah, because it seems like we're going down that road like, well, the neighbors are doing it.
Yes.
We
Well,
wanna do
right,
the
because we
same thing.
granted-
We want to save
Yeah, it
money.
just keeps going. Yeah, no, it's,
Right.
Kicking that can.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds like a great
Well,
idea
daisy
for
chain.
when it's really cold outside and we need to stay inside.
yeah.
Might not be a fit for
Good.
August.
Maybe not August.
Not in the summertime.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that idea. I may not be able to be here on August 6th.
Oh, if it means anything, I'll look.
We
Yeah.
can cancel if we have none.
Yeah, well, let's chew on it for tonight. When do you need to know if we need to cancel it?
We'd like to give a week's, like a Thursday before.
Okay. So that'd be like next week, right?
I guess it would be next week. I mean, state statute says 48 hours. If
Yeah,
it's
'cause
not
you need to get the
obviously
agenda
quorum,
printed.
right, if it's like a planned cancellation, 48 hours. So.
Yeah.
But for transparency purposes, we're talking about it, the sooner the better.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, you know, I said it in there, you know, we're doing this process, I haven't gone to the recent board meetings when they do the approvals and put in the additional conditions and all the discussions that they have in regards to, you know, the economic development. Because that's the thing, the board gets to consider making money,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And a bunch of
Not
other
supposed
things
to, right.
that we don't get to consider. But, you know, there's, sometimes you know, if we look at crafting something, like, we're gonna have to be very careful about, like, you know, unintended consequences.
Right.
You
For
know.
that curveball that comes in.
Yeah, so this makes us go through this thing, which we're actually now very good at doing, or we know how it kind of goes, and then we work through the process where, if we like said something's like permitted, because I mean, it really could be like, this is now permitted, like, no, like asphalt shaving parking lots, right, in that area.
I think I have a comment. Stu, remember we talked about the waivers and the text and the code?
Yeah.
Perhaps the PZHC could review a larger window of a waiver rather than just a 12-month temporary. If that's the intent to be business friendly, perhaps a waiver could be expanded into a longer duration of time rather than 12 months. Like as an example, this applicant said it takes about 3 years. Maybe a waiver could be instead of 12 months, 36 months or something like that, just to even consider.
Yeah, I mean, really, the question is, in what circumstances do you want? And there are a lot of different ways, there's a lot of different mechanics that we could bring to bear. I think a variance is the least appropriate, actually, way to handle these.
Yeah.
Because,
The
you're really not looking at, in these cases, it seems the impetus behind a lot of these are the circumstances of the owner and their business, and not really the condition of the property.
Right.
And so I think, you know, when you're talking about either a waiver or you make it like a component of a conditional use that that you can waive certain things or create exceptions. I don't like from a policy perspective and an enforcement perspective, I think a waiver is kind of a variation is an inappropriate tool for this type of
Yeah.
relief.
Yeah, I actually have to say there was one time, and we only got it, I think, at one of these, where they made a very good point about the land that they were building on. You know, it has all this compacted stuff on it that's settling, and they're like, we can't pave it because it's gonna crack, like, 'cause it's moving.
That is a
And you're like,
unique
oh,
condition on the property.
that will even go away.
Right, for once, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that is one of those, but very often, it
Yeah.
seems like these are granted specifically.
Yeah,
And
I wish
then-
more of them would argue for that point, actually.
Yeah.
But they
So
bring it up.
specifically to Franco's point about the process, I was just looking up in your code how amendments can be brought forward. And it says amendments can be proposed by the president and the board of trustees, the planning commission, zoning board of appeals, which you guys are both of that now. And so basically you could initiate some codes say that it actually has to be either from an applicant or a referral from the board. Your code says that you guys could actually initiate a petition for a code amendment.
I think the village administrator does too, right?
Yes, oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, I don't think any of us actually want the code to change to allow this, right? I don't, personally, I'm not just trying to get out of doing meetings.
I would want to have something that, well, it's the process that we have is broken, not broken, it's complicated, you know?
It maybe not though, because they're coming to us for variances as a financial point to benefit from.
Mhm.
And that's the point, and that's the whole reason that we have codes,
Yeah.
we run business this way in this community. Tell us why you need a variance, other than I can make more money if I don't have to pave. I can make more money if I don't need to put a fence around.
Right.
Across the river I have to.
Yeah.
So, I think so personally, I don't like gravel parking lots for the aesthetics. Our board, and really I want to suggest, the most important thing is, if we have laws on the books, or ordinances on the books, I'd like to follow the laws.
And
Like,
enforce them.
you know, that's what I want to do, right?
Yes.
Now, it's very clear, we'll see how this one goes, but the board approves these, and they've done every single one. Every one that we've heard, it gets approved.
Why?
You can talk to the board members.
Right,
about Why?
right, yeah.
But
Just a question.
it's usually, we've heard well, we won't, not like using that
Oh, but
example,
it's-
like we won't come into the town.
Correct,
We'll
yeah, not
withdraw.
that they
We
said
won't
that,
do
but yes.
I think that actually came up in the blue one, where they're like we need this, or we just
Yes,
won't even do
it was hinted more at that meeting than it was tonight.
Yeah.
It was hinted tonight, though.
Yes.
Yeah, so, it's, so there's gonna be those things. There is this concept of being fair. The board really, you see it a lot with businesses. These things get tied together, but they'll say, a good one's like with the video gaming, right? In regards to video gaming, new operators would come in and say, I want my games. And the board's like, well, we've restricted the number of games because we thought we had way too many. We've restricted. And the new people come and say, well, how come I have to play against these tough rules? I won't be able to compete with the other ones who are here longer than me. And the board has responded to allowing that to continue. I'm just talking to results I've
Yes.
seen in the votes.
Right, right.
It's so you can say it is being business friendly. It's
But how far will you take? Let's be business friendly.
So
When-
this is
yeah.
and this is why it has to be. I think we can do a text amendment, but it has to be a real discussion with the intent of the board. Like, what does the board want to achieve? What does they're the ones who have the authority, right, and all in the power. What are they trying to make the village be?
Yeah.
And we should. How do they want to have it developed? And we have a comprehensive plan. We provide recommendations. How do they really? want to see
And
it
they
developed?
can even come to these meetings.
Could we
Stu,
include them
Yeah.
in the same
I
meeting?
was just gonna
Or
say,
it's just
you could
gonna-
have a committee of the whole that's a joint PZHC and
Mhm.
village board meeting, you could
Yeah.
have a discussion item on this.
And that's often how communities will deal with when there is, I'm not going to say a misalignment, or if there's a question of alignment, or if alignments are changing.
Or do they just
There's
need
better
guidance on the
coordination,
understanding
Yeah,
of
just like,
policy?
hey, you know, where are we going with this? And,
Right.
you know, are we seeing a pattern here that we need to be aware of? What's the direction?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just made it a to-do list to discuss with the village.
Yeah, because it's, yeah, it's a clearly a misalignment, you know.
Yeah.
And,
I think that'd be productive.
Yeah.
do we, I mean, and then this one, I think we don't need to talk so much about annexations. I think this one is actually a little bit special because it was an annexation. I
Yeah.
actually feel a bit more, but like, how do we properly set up? You know, and that could be something more like how the board and how we relate to people looking to annex into our town. Like, it could be a thing that you say in the beginning, it is important that you follow, you know,
Right.
there's a, you know, an
Yeah.
expectation, right? It's like, we have to set the expectation of what it means to be here, and we, and then what,
And that would come from the board.
Yeah.
You would need to have the agreement that these are the policy you wanna see forward. And
Yeah.
When it does come, an annexation agreement, you know, staff and our attorneys can negotiate it, but the board still has a prerogative to amend that negotiation and craft it as how they see fit.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think of like all of the businesses that have come into the town over the years, all the land that's come into the town, and if everyone just got to say, well, wanna keep doing what I was doing.
I think at the time with the people to the north, I think when they annexed in and did all that, it was around the recession time.
Yeah,
So the board's prerogative was, well, we don't wanna
Yeah.
raise taxes on everyone, so we just let that go forward
yeah,
and
right.
make that, offset property taxes.
Those variances, I thought we discussed about the year limit that was put on it. Do you happen to know that? Was it 20 or 30 or 50 years or something?
In the blue,
No, to the north.
I don't have that off by memory.
Sure.
We had something with years in
I
it.
thought I heard something that really raised our
There's
eyebrows.
redevelopment agreements on the
Yeah, it's the
ordinance on
PUD.
the website.
Yeah, I think it was tied to a PUD, like one of those.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
590 Healy?
No, the, Pal Land Group,
Okay.
Unit 1 and Unit 2.
Yeah, yeah. They have a lot, I mean, in that there's a lot of variances. You know, we had that big talk where, you know, they wanted to develop the other side and have no green space and no sidewalks.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, where are they getting all these trailer trucks? I mean,
I did some research when,
it must be,
a few times ago when we were talking about gravel parking lots.
yeah,
And this was now a year and a half or 2 years ago, but it's probably increased if it's just my opinion. For every 10 trucks that are on the road in the United States right now, there's
Yeah.
only one parking spot.
really?
Semi-truck parking is where it's at right now. The Enterprise car deal, we were all here,
Yeah.
that company was from Florida. And if my memory serves correct, all they do is acquire property to put semi-truck big rigs on.
Yeah.
And now especially since they're cracking down on showing how many hours that they're behind the wheel and they need to do rests.
Right,
If you
okay.
if you pay attention when you're going on a road trip, you
Yeah.
will see more semi trucks than you remember seeing tonight pulled off onto exits.
Right.
And
Sure.
what they're doing is they need a certain amount of hours of rest
The
now, and they need to
regulations,
prove
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's even it's where the business is at right now.
Yeah.
That semi truck parking is huge. So if you want to make money,
But we
by
must be the central hub of the Chicago area.
well, we are,
Truck
because
parking.
you can come in here
Yeah.
and throw gravel down and
Right.
put semi-trucks on it, whereas any other place,
Right,
you have to pave it, secure it, light it,
right.
shrubs, green
Yeah.
space, getting water for fire hydrants.
Mhm.
When you put,
Special kinds of paving so that the trailers aren't putting dents in them.
yes,
Yeah.
and just from my career aspect, when you stack semi-trucks on top of each other in the rows of hundreds,
Yeah.
and one catches on fire,
No.
it is a disaster from where the news comes in, and that fire chief and city manager, they need to explain what happened and why it happened.
Yeah. yeah.
Why wasn't there water there? Why were they on top of each other? How
Right.
many breaks were in between them?
Yeah.
So when it's done appropriately, it's done for a reason,
Yeah.
because there have been mishaps in the past.
Yeah.
And we are setting ourselves up to be on the news and for a disaster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's no water back there. we need water to put fires
There's a
on.
lake.
Yeah,
There's a lake, but you can't draft out of that.
Right, exactly. Why not?
Because it's down so far, you can only
Yeah,
draft
it
10
is.
feet.
All right, you need a mega pump,
Yeah.
you know, giant turbine.
And then what's in there?
yeah. What did they do in West Dundee? What property were you talking about?
Do you have time?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a dump.
Now, that's along I-90?
That's
When
along
you go-
I-90.
right on
You
the
cut
road. So
in
that
there
was-
by the Greek church and you go down to
That's
the
right.
other
It's
road.
Airport Road. It's named Airport Road
All
because
the way
that
down
was an
by the
airport.
park,
Yeah,
by the
that-
river.
Where the old Elgin Airport was?
that's
or-
right. Just
Oh,
so
okay.
it's the closest lot next to the Fox River.
Okay.
Right. So on the other side of that old folks housing community.
Right.
Right. So just on the other side of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was
not
was
built
Elgin's dump. So far as like an old townie was talking to a friend of mine and said my dad and I used to go and throw our batteries back there. So like it was the dump for Elgin, right?
Right,
It was
right.
Elgin's property.
Yeah.
West Dundee annexed it, and from what I've
So they
hears-
paved that back there? And then-
hearsay,
Uh-huh.
West Dundee annexed it, knowing that it's what do they call it, a brownfield.
Brownfield, yeah.
So you can't do anything similar to what was the terminology that was being thrown around for acre, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This was that, literally a dump. So
Yeah.
they worked it out and said, well, this can either be a parking lot,
Huh.
or maybe, what else can you do with that? A golf course, like what they're doing in Hammond, Indiana.
Now, who owns that one?
Somebody who specializes in turning brownfield sites into parking lots.
Oh,
They had to do a lot of like.
So they
eco
ended up
remediation.
owning it and now they're.
The amount of
renting it
money
out
that they
for-
put into it was incredible.
Mhm.
And it is paved, it has 24-hour security, a person, not just lights that our village is recommending,
Wow.
and security cameras that our village is recommending. So they paved it, they striped it, they got water there for fire hydrants.
Right from the fire.
Yep, they have
It's like a-
similar to flock cameras, so that if there's any car that's in there for maybe a half hour to an hour and coming out right away,
Right, they
it
know.
flags that car.
They know
Why
what it
else would
is.
anybody be going through? You have to go through a fence, show ID if you don't have the code.
Uh-huh.
I really encourage you guys to go up and see our parking situation.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I've been back.
It is not, and then go and
Yeah,
check
I've
that
been
one
back
out.
by ours. Yeah.
Yep, and
Yeah.
if you're coming home from the city, you're on I-90,
I didn't know there was one in West. Oh,
lovely.
that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, chief.
Yeah.
We can do this,
Of the
right?
one here?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and make it work for both sides, the
Yeah,
owner and
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Well, they're a paving company. I mean, they got,
Yes.
they got the means and methods to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so why I brought that up
They
with
have the
him,
resources. Yeah.
the property that I've been talking about at length tonight in West Dundee,
Uh-huh.
Plody had rigs there paving it for them.
Yeah.
On a dump.
Yeah.
It was an actual dump. There's
Yeah.
trash under there.
So they did their paving job
Yeah.
then, huh? Yeah,
And then quick question, Stu,
we're all over the place. Yeah.
quick question though, Stu,
Interesting.
on this, yes, good staff report.
Sorry.
I won't have a staff report next time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I think too, in regards to these text amendments, guidance, you know, I'm now even more against this, like, to your point about this variance approach, you know, because it's because they're not even looking to do it.
They're coming in
They're
here
like
expecting a
proactively
variance.
asking for variances.
Right, and they don't even.
Like,
know
think
what
about if you're doing
they
that at
have
your,
planned.
yeah, it's an interesting.
I love that.
It's not
Yeah, it's the
a-
most inappropriate way to do it ever.
Anyway,
I think the way that this commission handled, threaded the needle tonight was very appropriate.
okay, great. Well, thank you. Okay. Any more staff report?
I'll make a motion.
No.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Charles.
I'll give Marie a second.
Sleep, right?
It's 8:39 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
I didn't even drink my Coke.
Oh, wait.
We don't do a
Maybe that's what happened to me. I drank this and I was going for it.